important webinar under the theme Bridging the Ethical Gap, that is building respectful and supportive learning environment in schools. My
Mm.
name is Fiona Luma and I will be your moderator for this session. It is a privilege to have you all joining us today from different parts of the country and beyond. You are highly welcome to this webinar.
Thank
Um,
you.
at Wem at Wem'Afrika, we believe that creating a safe, respectful, and emotionally supportive learning environment is the foundation for quality education and
Mm.
social harmony. So today's discussion, we aim to explore how we can bridge the ethical gap between teachers and students and strengthen mutual respect within our schools. Across many schools today, we see growing tension between students and teachers, miscommunication, lack of trust, which affects the learning environment of the school. And these issues don't only affect discipline, they affect the children's experience, they affect even the teachers, how the teachers are able to produce or how they are motivated to go about their work. So, and we are honored to have three dynamic speakers. They will bring wealth of knowledge, experience, and passion to this discussion. Each of them will speak on a key aspect of bridging the ethical gap and fostering positive learning environment. So I'd like to welcome all the speakers here present. Thank you for the opportunity you gave us to share your knowledge with us. Firstly, we have Madame Caroline Senge with us. She is a bilingual educator. She is an educational administrator, an education advocate, an advocate for girls' child education, and she will be talking on creating safe spaces, building inclusive and respectful classrooms for every student. You are highly welcome, Madam Caroline.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Madam
Um,
Fiona.
I'm going to be sharing her slides. Let me just give me a moment so I can share her slides with us. Thank you. Just a moment. Just a moment while I. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Let me try to adjust the. Is the screen actually in the right? the dimension. I
Yeah.
Okay, is that okay?
Hmm.
Okay, you can begin.
Okay. Um, Good evening, everyone. I sincerely want to thank Wem'Afrika and Madame Fiona for the confidence they placed in me and giving me this privilege to participate in this webinar, which is such an important topic, bridging ethical gaps, which is very important. And precisely, I'll be talking on creating safe spaces in our classrooms. And particularly today, we are exploring why respect and inclusivity matter. Why do they matter? And how can we practice this? And we're also going to look at the role that both teachers and students play in making learning environments very supportive and motivating for each other. Um, the important thing to note here is that every child, please can we go to the next slide? Every child deserves not just to be taught, but they deserve to belong. We don't teach children just to learn and pass. We must ensure that they are part of the learning. We must ensure that they belong. A classroom should not only be a space of learning, it should be a place where when young people come, they discover who they really are, they discover their identity, they discover their personality, and they are able to fit into the world as a result of the impact of their classroom. And so when students feel respected, when students feel valued, when they feel included, they find the courage to participate in lessons. They find the courage to want to share their potentials, their abilities, what they know, their own little knowledge that they have. They find they find the courage to belong in that classroom. And that's why what we are going to be talking about all about today will be turning so much around that. So classrooms should therefore be safe and inclusive environments. Okay? Classrooms should be safe. And why should respect and inclusivity, how? Why do they boost motivation? Next slide, please. We want to look at why respect and inclusivity boost motivation. We are looking at respect. The first thing is that respect builds confidence. It builds the students' confidence. When we respect students, when we show them that they have a place, when we don't talk them down all the time, when we don't despise their own little opinions or their suggestions or their own participations or contributions that they have to make, it helps them feel very valued. And when they start feeling valued, their self-esteem increases because they start believing in themselves. Oh, so I too matter in this place. Oh, so I too have something to say. Oh, so I too have a contribution I can make. And that is what respect does to them. The teacher must learn to respect the students, no matter who they are, no matter where they come from, no matter their different backgrounds. Let's learn to respect each student and help them boost their self-esteem. It also encourages risk-taking in learning. There are so many children in the classroom who it's not because they don't know what to say or they don't want to say something, but because they don't feel safe to say it. But when they start feeling safe, when the environment is conducive and they have this confidence that it doesn't matter what they say, even if they say the wrong thing, it is just okay. They will say it. But many children fear to take the risk of saying the wrong thing, of making mistakes. Why? Because they feel that they will be jeered, they will be hushed down, maybe the teacher will insult them. And when they don't have this security, they will not participate in the lessons. But when we respect them and respect their abilities and respect who they are, and we let them know that they have a lot of value and they have a lot they too can contribute in the lesson, we'll find even the most shy student. raising up the hand to make a contribution in the lesson. So respect helps to build this confidence and creates engagement in learning because students will be willing to take the risk. Let me say it, even if I'm wrong. My teacher will not kill me. My teacher will not hush me down. I will just say it. It also helps to reduce anxiety, like I said, and the fear of failure. Because many students are shut down, many students don't improve in their performances, not because they are dull, but because they fear to participate. Let me not say this and I make an error, my friends will laugh at me. Let me not say this or let me not do this and I fail and the teacher will shut me down. So when we create that environment where the student feels safe to express whatever it is in his mind, to participate in the lesson, even if he or she is not participating rightly, we show them that we respect them. And it depends on how we talk to them. It depends on the language we use to students. When we tell a student, sit down, you moron, you are dull, you are stupid, that student will find it very difficult to participate in that lesson. That's what we call the affective filter in language learning. They taught us that the affective filter, when it is high, it impedes learning. And it is lack of respect, verbal disrespect, physical disrespect that makes students, that makes the affective filter to increase. And once it is high, learning is blocked. So we must create that environment where the student feels so confident that he too has something to say. We must learn how to respond to a child. We must learn to appreciate. We must learn to tell them, oh yeah, you made an error, but it's okay. It's okay to make an error. It's okay. That mistake will help you to learn more because when you make the mistake, I correct you, you learn more and you become a better version of you. The next thing we are looking at right here now is inclusivity fuels engagement. If you are a teacher and you're only lecturing to the end of the class and you give your assignment and you leave, I tell you, you will not be able to accomplish your objectives. But when you make your class engaging, your lessons become easier for you to handle and the students learn better. So when the students feel included, when they feel accepted, when they feel accommodated in a particular classroom, their engagement increases. And how do we achieve this? We have the first point that diverse voices enrich discussions. Let's take, for example, you have a discussion on a particular topic. You sample different opinions, allow the children to speak. They will come up with their different ideas, different perspectives to what you're discussing, different experiences they add to it. This diversity helps the children to be more engaged. A student will listen to what the friend will say. Hey, I will say, no, maybe my own experience is a little bit different. This is what I experienced from where I come. This is what happens there. This is what they participate in the lesson. And so engagement is increased. You find even the weakest students, the most timid students participating because you have crafted a lesson that attracts them. You have crafted a lesson that reflects their real life situations. You have crafted a lesson maybe, or you have used a strategy that touches even onto their cultural backgrounds, their different backgrounds. It builds their interest in the lesson and they want to participate. Students see themselves reflected in the content. When you make the content of your lesson, whether you're teaching mathematics, you're teaching English, you're teaching history, whatever subject you are teaching, when you make the students see themselves in the content, it helps them to participate. Let's take an example. If you're teaching history, for instance, and you're talking about maybe colonialism, how the white man came and I don't know, and how, although let's say slave trade, how the white man came and how they took our brothers and sisters and went away and sold them for slavery. Most of us, or most of the children, they have parents who have narratives about slavery. Either they got it from their great grandparents, or maybe their grandparents themselves experienced it. When you throw this kind of conversation, you'll be surprised at what the children will add. And so it helps them to engage because the content reflects a real life situation. The content touches on experiences that they have had or they have heard, stories that they have gotten from them, and each of them will give you their different versions that they got from their family or from their grandparents, and it helps them to get engaged. And the next thing is that it promotes what? Curiosity and empathy, compassion for one another, love, curiosity. I want to know more. And you find the students getting into each other's background, getting it into each other's experience and learning. Their perspectives are broadened. They broaden their perspectives. They become curious. They want to know more about the other person's story, and it helps. It helps so much. And now we're looking at safe spaces and better outcomes. How safe spaces produce better outcomes. How safe spaces produce better outcomes. More participation, it ensures more participation. It ensures stronger peer relationship. It improves performance. So when the classroom environment is safe and the student feels like, oh, I belong here, I can say something. It is okay even if I make mistakes. It is okay even if I'm wrong. You will realize that their participation will increase. We said most of those things, like even the timid child will want to participate, because politely, we must be able to politely correct their mistakes and tell them, no, even if you make a mistake, it's okay. You will learn more. You will learn better. We must be able to encourage them. It all depends on the teacher's strategy. It all depends on how we deal with them. And another thing is that stronger peer relationship through group works and things like that. The children learn to work in a team. They develop the attitude of working in a team. And when you change roles from time to time, they start building leadership qualities from there. And the truth is that these things will spill beyond their academic life into their social life, into their career life tomorrow. So it is very important to create these safe spaces so that the outcome will be better, and therefore there will be also improved performance. Take a weak student who was never participating in class, who was always shy. By the time that student starts participating in class, we'll realize that the student's performance will automatically improve. So it's very important to create safe spaces. Classroom agreements. We must co-create rules and roles with students. The teacher should not just be a dictator. What you say is what stands. The rules you place are the rules that stand. These students, they have experiences. What I always do at the beginning of the academic year, I get to class and I set class rules, but I don't impose it on them. I walk into class and we talk about maybe discipline issues. And I let them know that there is need for us to instill discipline in class so that we can be able to cover the workload we have for that year. And you ask them, how do you think we should handle this aspect? When people come late, what should happen? No, you first of all ask them, what are the attitudes that show indiscipline? They will give you, they'll say, let's come in, talking in class, eating in class. How do you think we can stop this? How do you think we can handle this? They will give you the rules. Sometimes they even tell you the kind of punishment to met out. And when these things are coming from them, you agree with them. They feel they belong. They feel that their voice too matters. They feel that they have something to contribute. They feel valued. But it's different when you walk into class and you just impose those things on them. So we must learn to co-create the rules with the students, classroom rules that govern our classroom. We co-create it with them. Give them the trust. Show them that you believe in them. Show them that you know that they know what they are doing and they have something to offer. Once a student finds himself or herself in that kind of environment, there's no way learning will not thrive in that kind of place. Emphasize respect, emphasize them listening, and emphasize responsibility. They must be able to respect one another, and you should model the respect by respecting them. You don't talk to them anyhow. You are not rude to them. You don't insult them. When you model it, they will follow it. Inclusive teaching materials. Inclusive teaching materials that help our classrooms and our lessons to be inclusive. We use diverse stories and examples from different backgrounds. For example, those of us who are teaching language, I'm very sorry, my lighting is not good, it's not the best today. Yeah. For example, those of us who are teaching language, we can come up with a reading comprehension text that reflects our local realities, that reflects, for instance, if you come up with a reading comprehension text that reflects a student's cultural background, that reflects a student can identify maybe with his village, with his culture, that particular student will engage, will be challenged, will be motivated to participate. So we should bring in stories from different texts and different examples from different backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, and things like that. We talk about culture, ethnicity, group, race, community, all of that. We go. If we have a mixed class where we have children from different communities, we should be able to craft lessons that reflect this reality and also represent both genders, male and female. We should not bring lessons that are gender biased. Participatory learning, group work that values every voice. Create topics that will make even the weakest person in the group to participate. The problem with us teachers is that sometimes we select topics that are not even interesting, topics that do not reflect the children's realities. But when we come up with topics that are engaging, that reflect their realities and that they can talk about, we encourage them. You let them know that every member of the group must say something. Talk to them, encourage them on the dynamics of the group, and you find them participating. Even tell them that no, you motivate marks for participation. So you go around and you supervise the groups. Because of the motivation for marks, you find them participating. The next one is rotating leadership roles. If you create permanent groups, maybe at the beginning of the academic year, and you want the groups to remain like that till the end, one person should not just be the leader. This week for this assignment, you are the leader. Next week for this assignment, you are the leader. When you keep rotating the roles, you realize that everyone is given an opportunity to say something. Everyone is given an opportunity to to showcase their ability to lead. Everyone is given an opportunity. You are indirectly telling them that you believe in each one of them, and they will have that confidence. They will feel they belong. They will feel they matter. They will feel their own voice also counts. And opportunities for choice in assignments. Some assignments, you ask even the weak students, okay, this is what I've given you. Think it's so difficult. What do you think you can handle? I tried it once and it worked out. They will tell you the areas. Some students can be good, very perfect in oral work. Some can be best when it comes to writing. Some can be best in other things, in creativity, in drawing and things like that. Vary the assignments and try to give them opportunities for choice, and that will help them feel valued. Supportive environment, sitting that encourages collaboration. Arrange classroom seating. But it's just normal that in our settings here, the teacher does not really have the upper hand to arrange a classroom. We just walk into class and the classroom seating is just already arranged. But when it gets to group work, ask them sometimes to turn their benches and form small, small circles according to their different groups so that they can participate. Sometimes I take them outside. We sit under a tree and they form small, small clusters in their different groups and they work together. It's very important when you arrange the sitting um, um, environment in such a way that it encourages collaboration. Sometimes you even take them out and make them sit in a big circle. Yes, it's interesting. And they sit round. You talk with them. The one who is leading or the one who is presenting stands in the middle. Quiet reflection, quiet reflection spaces for overwhelmed students. There are some students who come, they are so overwhelmed. Some of them, they bring the overwhelmness from home. They have situations that they go through at home, and by the time they get to class, they're already so overwhelmed. I've had students who were living with guardians who are not their real parents, biological parents, and they were having terrible situations, challenges. They were not being fed well. They would have to do all the house chores, and then they go to bed late. They wake up in the morning. They are the only persons to do the work. They come to school tired. They are overwhelmed. And then it affects their psychology. They cannot coordinate well. They cannot assimilate. They feel so tired of the create quiet reflection spaces for such children. Create it for them. In such spaces, put even some books. If you notice they are interested in some particular kind of topics, put some few books there if it's within your reach. If not, just create that quiet place for reflection and give them an activity and give them a food for thought. Let them reflect for a while, kind of like relaxing, but they are working. It will help them. It will help them relieve them of that overwhelmness. And the next is recognition of effort and just achievement. When a child puts in effort, even if at the end of the project or the assignment or the exercise, the student does not make it, the student fails in it, recognize the effort. Appreciate the student for the effort the student has put in. Don't just say, your friends have made it, or you have failed, you are stupid, you are dumb. No, such words should not come in. Oh, you did it. I am so encouraged. I like the way you participated. I like the effort, even though you failed, but the effort you have put in. Try harder next time, you'll become better. I'm surprised. I didn't know you could do this. See the little effort you put in, see what you have produced. Let us be positive. Let us encourage them. The teacher's role: model respect and fairness. Yes, show the students that you respect their personality. Show the students that you respect their differences. Show the students that you respect their culture. Show the students that you respect their different backgrounds, whether poor or rich. Respect the students. If you don't respect your students, you can afford to insult them anyhow. You can afford to down talk them anyway, anytime. They will do that to you someday. Yes, whatever attitude we want our students to present, we must show them. Students learn easily when they watch and they see. They assimilate easily. Use positive and affirming language. Oh, excellent. This is wonderful. You did well. This is very good. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Encourage them. Be affirmative. Be positive when you're talking with them. Don't despise them. Address bullying and stereotypes firmly. We have students in class that like bullying others. And when they bully others like that, they intimidate them and push them inwards. They cannot talk out. They are afraid. Once you see students who do that, address it firmly. All those kind of behaviors, you don't condone them in class. And when the students know that our teacher does not joke with this kind of attitude, they tone it down. Adapt lessons. Adapt lessons to meet the students' needs. Now, the students' role in all what we are talking about, respect and inclusivity. What is the student's own role? Show respect to peers and teachers. We must teach them that it's very important for them to respect their peers, their classmates, their friends, and to respect their teachers. Those are basic moralities and basic things that spill beyond the academic environment into real life. We tell them it's important to respect your seniors, your elderly persons. It's important to respect the people around you. Have mutual respect for your mates, your friends. If you want people to respect you, you must respect them. If you don't know how to respect people, you will be disrespected. I always use this slogan in class, and the students told me when I enter class, they will start saying, if you want people to respect you, you must respect them. And they will say it and they will laugh. But it sinks in them. So let's teach them these things. Listen actively and value others' contributions. We must teach them that ability to listen actively. When someone is up, a student raises their hand up and is talking, is answering a question, is giving an opportunity, an opinion. Let them learn to listen attentively. It's not a time for talking because someone is up talking. Listen attentively and value what that person is saying. You may not have the same opinion. You may be of contrary opinion, but respect each other's opinions. Don't say, forget what you're saying is wrong. You are not supposed to say that. You laugh at the person. No. When we do that, our environment, our classroom environment will become very safe for each other to express. Take responsibility for creating a supportive culture. Teach the students that they have to be responsible for making the classroom environment to be safe for everyone. I had a situation in class. There was a student who is really dark skinned but has real blue eyes. And so when you look at the face, it's scary. And because of that condition, I don't know what I would call it, a condition or what, all the other students did not want to associate with her. And that affected her. They will laugh at her, they will insult her, they will despise her, they will ostracize her from their groups and it affected the student a lot until we had to address the matter. We told them that is irresponsible behavior. We must learn to accommodate each other's excesses, accommodate the differences, accommodate each other's, different backgrounds, accommodate each other. It must be a lesson it's a responsibility that we must teach our students to take. Yes, you have this strength, this one has this weakness. Let's see how we complement each other and we work together. We must teach them to know that learning should be a communal thing. Shared responsibility. Safe spaces are co-created. It's not just the teacher's responsibility, and it's not just the students' responsibility. We must work hand in glove with the students to ensure that our classrooms are safe, like we have already enumerated before. And the teacher must guide and serve as a role model. The way you talk to the students, the way you behave in class, the things you like, the way you dress even and come to class. The students should see you as a role model. For whatever you do, whatever you put up is what they follow unconsciously. And students too should be active partners in building a respectful community. They should not see their classmates as competitors, but they should see each other as they should see their classmates, they should see their teachers as partners in the learning process. We must teach this to our students. Conclusively, respect and inclusion unlock motivation. When we get every student included, no matter their backgrounds, their differences, we realize that they will become very motivated and they will love your subject. You see some students loving a particular teacher and a particular student in class, in school, because of what the teacher has modeled. The teacher has modeled respect and inclusion, and it motivates them. Together, we can make every classroom a safe, welcoming, and inspiring environment for learning. Every child's voice matters. Thank you so much for listening. It has been a wonderful time. I hope you gained something. I don't know whether we can give time for questions. If you have any questions, then we'll take questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Madam Caroline. This was a very, very
Welcome.
insightful session. I mean, I learned so much. I might not be a teacher, but I definitely know what to do whenever I decide to be a speaker, a teacher. Sorry. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Just your lesson made me feel like I could be a teacher someday. So thank you. And next up, we have our second speaker, who is Madam Kate Oro. Kate is a peace ambassador, and she is also the founder of the Peace Game Initiative, and she is a member of Wem'Afrika. She in she is in a conflict management department. So Mrs. Kate is going to be telling us about how rethinking teacher-student relationships in school. How do we handle conflicts among teachers and students in schools? I want to welcome Mrs. Kate. She is very present and I appreciate her for giving her time to share with us her knowledge on conflict among teachers and students. Thank you very much, Kate. You have the floor. You are muted. You are muted.
I'm sorry. Thank you so much. Can I get me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So thank you so much for the introduction. I want to start by thanking my boss, Madam Pauline, for this opportunity, and also thank Madam Fiona for this opportunity to present. And I also love to appreciate the first speaker. I think she's an exceptional teacher because when I was in my mind, I was like, all these things she's doing, I don't influence it in school. My teachers help with us, our teachers help with us. So I thank you so much for that in-depth presentation. we are going to be looking at the reasons for conflict and the solution. It's not okay to just look at the reasons for conflict, but we must also look at how to address them. So now we are going to talk about the reasons for conflict. I get to me.
Hello. I don't know. Are you your voice, your audio is echoing. Are you talking from two different devices? You could turn one off
It's just my phone.
or an earpiece.
I get to me now.
Yeah, it's clearer now, but no, you can just be louder. This is better.
I went to now.
Yes, I can get you. We all know that the network issue in this part of the country is not the best, but I can hear you. I hope the others too can hear.
Okay, thank you. So let me just go on. The first reason for conflict is the authoritarian teaching culture. So there's so many teachers, like I said earlier, everything that Madam was saying before, I know experiences. In fact, most people, they don't come to class and they threaten us anyhow. There was a particular teacher that was the primary school. We're very scared of him because we know that if we don't say the timetable very well, he's going to beat us so well. Till death, I hate math. So you can imagine what a teacher's behavior can do to students. So now we also have the generational gap. While they were growing up, they were grown up in a very strict way. And now this Gen Z generation is very soft and they want everything to be developed. So that generational gap is really a problem. And it makes teachers don't understand students, students don't understand teachers. Teachers are like, they are supposed to understand, students are supposed to understand them because they are the bosses in class, they are the teachers, and teachers are like, no, even my father does not talk to me like that. Even my father does not talk to me like that. So it's really a problem. Second, favoritism. When some students feel like some teachers favor some particular students, and they don't really care about the others become so angry, they become so offended. They're like, okay, this person is your best student, this one is we are not your student, something of that sort. Also, teachers using abusive words. I remember in my form 5, when our teacher, because you go to class and you spend how many minutes, in that job, how many minutes of class break, you will use a great part of those minutes just to insult. Somebody says she's not getting it.
I think there's a lot of echo from your sound, as you said. Try muting and unmuting. Are you speaking directly from your phone or you're using a device?
I'm speaking for myself.
Okay, then it's probably the network issue. We really apologize for the severe network problem this evening. So let's just try to be keen and listen to what our speaker has to say. If there's a lot of network issue, we apologize for that.
Don't worry about the bad network. Yes, I'm saying teachers using abusive words on students. It's very terrible. When I was in Form 5, I had a teacher who, when he comes to class, he will use a great part of his time just to insult students. How we are very dull, how we are very stupid, how we're not even sure that we are going to play with you well, and the rest. It made us feel so terrible, so terrible. But when it came to me, I was like, I'm going to study this literature and see and study teacher and not as stupid as it is. So that was my only motivation to study because I wanted to prove a point that I'm not as stupid, I'm not a yam, I'm not dull. So this work is really, really broken. And words still affect some of us till today. It looked like no, it was just something for the moment. No, words are powerful. Words are very powerful. It affects us till today because there are times when you feel like no, what you're doing is not enough. You feel like you're so inadequate. You feel like what you're doing is not enough. You feel like you're so inadequate, but you think that uh, it's from you, it's not from you. It's something that has already been programmed in your mind. Something that tells you that you are not enough. It gives you inferiority complex. So we already know that no matter what we do, we'll never measure up, we'll never be enough. And that's why most students suffer from inferiority complex. If you check well, you will see that it's either their teachers or their parents, or both parents or guardians and teachers were always abusing them, talking down on them. It follows you to adulthood. It takes a lot, in fact, it takes God Himself to break free from that. Also, there are times when teachers are stressed because of the pressure they receive on the administration. Maybe they have deadlines to meet and they come and they pour it out on students. Other times it's because of delayed salary or little salary. When I heard the salary that they pay is it teachers of nursery school, I was broken. Nursery school are the students deserve a lot. Those students, in fact, those children deserve a lot. They pay them very little. You can imagine how somebody who has a little salary thinking about his life, then a child comes to step. I don't slap now. We don't use this slap at that time. Sometimes it's also because of poverty. There are teachers who are not there, they're not teaching because they want to teach. They are teaching because they feel like they don't have a choice. That's the only legit way to make money. So they're not everything about the job annoys them. So when the unfortunate students climb on their toes, those students have to feel the effect of their art. So those are some reasons for conflict. Now let's go straight to the solution. We can reduce conflict through dialogue and fairness. Many people think that no, because I am an adult, these are not children. I should not talk to them in a nice way. I should not have a dialogue with them. But that's not true. That's not true. In fact, I made it a duty for me. I'm not a teacher, but I made a duty for me in particular that when I heard people who are younger than me, I tell them that I'm sorry. Most elders cannot say, they cannot say why it was not said to them. So they just think like everything will be okay. Everything will not be okay. So even let's just start living at home. If you're here, you have a younger one, you have people looking up to you, whether it's at home or at work. If you annoy them, say I am sorry. It will not kill you. Let teachers make students also feel heard. Most times, teachers don't listen to students. And students feel like they have no choice but to cope with the teacher. Most students don't feel heard. They don't feel seen. They feel misunderstood. So if teachers can make students feel heard and seen, and validate and understand when okay, they are actually stubborn, then we can talk about it. Sometimes those students are actually stubborn of not because they're necessarily stubborn, but because of what's going on at home. Most of those students come from very, very broken homes. They just need someone to talk to. Mommy and daddy are always fighting. They feel frustrated. It disturbs them psychologically. They just need someone. They need a safe space. They need someone or people to open up to. They cannot open up to them. So I think that if teachers make students feel seen and heard, the learning environment is really going to be conducive for them. Also, can create a conducive learning environment when teachers motivate students more and use less fear. Most teachers use fear a lot. If you don't do this, I will beat you. If you don't do this, I will punish you. If you don't do this, I will do this on you. So everything is always backed by sanction. It makes students to be very afraid. They cannot even express themselves. So it makes the teacher-student relationship to be full of so much tension, which ought not to be so. So I think that if we apply this this these solutions, I believe that we are going to have a conducive learning environment and an improved relationship between teachers and students. Thank you so much.
Wow, wow, wow. This is really amazing. Thank you so much, Kate. Just from the way you were presenting, it shows that you have a lot of experience with conflict management, which is great. It was an excellent presentation. Thank you so much for all that you shared. It's really amazing. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Kate. Wow. Okay, please, we are going to have a slot for questions for now. We are going to have a slot for questions. Let's just be patient, and we have another speaker. At least at this stage, we are able to know how to create inclusive classrooms for students, and also we are able to see the root causes of conflict among teachers and students and how to actually bridge the gap. This is so amazing, and thank you. So our next speaker we have with us Miss Mercy Stephen. I really appreciate her for being part of us to share her expertise. Mercy Stephen is from Kenya. She is a global affairs and civic education expert, which means that whatever she has to share with us here is her expertise. We are going to learn so much. So she's going to be talking to us about raising responsible citizens. How do we promote ethics, integrity, and positive behavior in schools? So we have Mercy Stephen for that, and I welcome you once more, Mercy. I think you have the floor. Mercy, thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I would like to start by thanking the organization, Africa, and of course, Fiona Luma. Thank you for this opportunity. As you've heard, my name is Matthew Steven. I hope you can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you clearly from my end.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Matthew Steven. As Fiona said, I am a global affairs expert. Yeah, and for the respect of time, allow me to start my presentation. I will turn off my camera so that I can be able to share from my end. Just a minute. And before I start, I would like to acknowledge my biggest supporter. My mom is somewhere in the midst. So hi, Mama. Just a minute. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen. Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, great. So my topic I'm going to tackle promoting ethics, integrity, and positive behavior in school, all in the aspect of raising responsible citizens. So we are going to see how do we promote ethics, integrity, and positive behavior in school. And we will start off by seeing what is education and why does ethics matter in school. So if you think about education, most people say that education is just going to school, sitting in class, getting the certificates, and afterwards getting a job. But education is far more broader and much wider than this, because we get to see that children spend much of their time in school than at home. So what is education? We see here that the slide says that education is more than just academics. Ethics in education develops the whole person in terms of knowledge, values, and skills. So here we see that when you go to school, right, and we are right now we are promoting ethics, right? So when we learn ethics and we get our knowledge in terms of syllabus, we gain in terms of knowledge, we gain in terms of values, we gain in terms of life skills. It builds the foundation for citizenship, leadership, and societal growth. So to my next slide, if just a clarification, if there's someone with a question or someone raising their hand, I can't see the screen because I'm sharing. You can just let me know. So what is ethics? You have been saying about ethics, promoting ethics. What is ethics? Ethics is the moral principles that guide behavior. Basically, it's the key values that build our character and guide what we do in our normal day-to-day life, right? It includes values as honesty, fairness, respect. I had the first the first speaker talking about respect, right? I have had someone talking about fairness. So it's the simple things such as honesty, fairness, transparency, integrity, and the like. In schools, ethics shape the future leaders of society. By just learning the examples of ethics, we get to learn. These days in the African setting, we have so many problems. E.g., for instance, corrupt leaders, and we can all see it all boils down to the point of ethics because they lack maybe honesty, they lack fairness, they lack respect and things like that. So if we could really work on ethics, we will solve a lot of problems that we are facing today. So to the next slide, why does ethics
Hello,
matter?
Mercy. Sorry for
Yes,
interrupting.
yeah.
We are still on the first slide. I can see just your first slide. I think we are
Okay.
in the fourth slide now, and yeah.
Yes, I've been going on just a minute. Let me stop sharing for a minute. Just a minute.
Okay.
You can see from my end. Can you see?
Not yet. I can't see your slide right now.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Uh, just a minute.
You can just click to the next slide so we go along with you as you present.
Okay. So why does ethics matter in education, right? We were here. Yes. Why does ethics matter in education? Ethics creates trust between teachers and students because there is transparency, there is fairness. Someone talked about respect. So this creates trust. Teachers and students can trust each other. It also an example is transparency reduces conflict and favoritism. I have had an example where the teacher was not favoring the speaker. The student felt like the teacher doesn't like her or something of the sort. So transparency, it reduces conflict and favoritism. Fairness creates inclusive and safe spaces. When you're fair, you are sure that your teacher is not looking down on you, right? So you are motivated to speak out, you are motivated to participate, you are motivated, to answer questions and so on. Without ethics, we will have educated but not responsible citizens. And unfortunately, this is what we are seeing at the moment. Like the example that I just mentioned, corrupt leaders. You go to banks, maybe rude people, people that don't have respect. They are not honest, sorry. People that steal in organizations and things of the sort. They start from as early as the person was, from their student years, from their early on years. So to the next point, what's the ethical gap? If you can remember the topic, we are dealing about promoting ethics in schools, right? So what's the ethical gap? What are we dealing with first? For you to come up with solutions, you have to see what the problem is. So one of the problems that is creating this gap is disconnect between students and teachers. Maybe teachers are feeling they are feeling superior than the students, and so students, they feel disconnected because they don't have, the safe space hasn't been created yet. There's also mistrust. Teachers are not role models. I will give an example. Some teachers maybe have affairs. I have heard of situations in my country, I don't know about the other countries, that teachers have affairs with young children. And so when you see a teacher like that, you wouldn't want the teacher as a role model. Other teachers come to work drunk, or maybe smelling as, the drinks, the alcohol and stuff. There's also lack of dialogue. Teachers don't have the open communication policy with the students. There's also poor engagement. Teachers are not willing to engage and come down to the students so that they can engage one-on-one. Okay, so what do we do about these problems? One thing we should do is constant communication and reminders. Some teachers say that, but I've been telling them I have an open door policy, but I have been favoring them. But one thing that I've come to realize, that children learn from hearing, and even the human mind. There's a saying that says it takes 21 days to create a habit. So you have to do it and do it. So in terms of maybe doing what? Creating an open door policy, you have to reassure them every day. My door is always open for you. If you have a problem, this is a safe space. I will not judge you. What else? Honesty. You have to insist. You have to be honest so that it can get deep inside them, and so that they could take it as a habit, right? Leads. Okay. Another thing, the ethical gaps lead to indiscipline and low performance in school, such as the children become rebellious because they're like, this teacher is not understanding me. So what's the essence of pleasing the teacher? And they start to maybe be indisciplined. They don't listen to the teacher, and it affects their performance at the end. So a tip about this: bridging the gap builds healthier school environment. So if you bridge these gaps, like mistrust, teachers not being role models, the lack of dialogue, it makes the school, it builds the gap, and it makes the school healthier and creates a conducive environment both for the teacher and the learners. So teachers as role models, right? Children learn more from what teachers do than what they say. If you, sorry about that. I don't know if you have ever encountered this, but young children, when you meet with them and they've been taught something by their teacher, and the parent wants to correct and teach something else, the children is always adamant. No, teacher has said this, teacher has taught this, because they learn more from the teacher. And also, children see more than hear. They portray what they see. So if they see the teacher is not minding about them, if they see the teacher is not honest, they will show, even them, they will portray what the teacher is doing. So the teacher should be demonstrating fairness, and they should also respect, because respect builds trust among them and the children. I have heard the speaker talking about respect, and she went deep into it, so I'm not going to go deeper than that. So teachers set the ethical standard in classroom because they are the ones that create the first conducive space so that the children can react. If a teacher is fair, if a teacher creates a respectful environment, if a teacher creates a safe environment, of course the child will feel safe and will be open, and more open to correction and things like that. So building life skills in school. How do we build life skills in school? So the first thing, I will say that communication entails respectful dialogue, active listening, and constant reminders. So number one, you have to be respectful. Some teachers say that students are younger than them, so you don't have to respect them, which is false, and the speaker has really emphasized on that. So active listening, you not all the time, we as adults or the teachers are the ones to speak. They should also embody or create active listening. Listen first to the children. What are they suffering from? Is there a problem? Is there a reason why they have low performance? Is there a reason why they are rebelling towards a certain role and things like that? And constant reminders. Again, the human mind is trainable. You have to do it and do it until it forms a habit. Even the Bible, I don't know if anyone reads the word says faith comes by hearing and hearing. So you have to hear and hear it again. So you have to remind the student constantly. You have to be honest. I have an open door policy. You can come to me. You respect them and things like that. Communication exposes trauma and a person in general. I am going to give an instance right here. Right now, all of us are here. I can't know some people because they haven't shared. You have known something about me because Fiona said, because I have said. So communication, it exposes trauma because some people coming to school, maybe they are victims of abuse or of neglect. They have different traumas. You never know because you don't live with them, in their houses. So once you create a safe space for communication, it exposes their trauma and gives you, a niche or a place that you can work with in order to build the ethics in them. And once you communicate, you create the safe space for communication. You get to know the person in general and the child in general, and you get to know where you are likely to help them. What is this child suffering from? Is this child not honest? Is this child lacking transparency? And so forth. So a tip, before I go to the tip, let's deal with conflict resolution. So the mistrust and the lack of communication, it usually creates conflict because the student is like, this teacher doesn't understand me, and the teacher is like, this student is rebellious. So how do we deal with it? Number one, problem solving over punishment. When you see a child is rebellious, or you think the child is rebellious, or you think the child has a problem in maybe lacks certain ethics, you should identify where the problem, the origin, where the problem is, and try to solve the problem than the punishment. Usually, during my high school years, we had children that teachers called rebellious, and they would get punished over and over again until it reached a point that the students was so used to punishment, and they were like, I just know that I'll be punished, so even if I do anything, I'm used to the punishment. And so you haven't solved the problem on that child. So we would rather take problem solving over punishment. Another thing, schools can introduce peer meditation programs. In our school, we had something called peer counselors, where it was just our fellow students that were, for lack of a better word, let me use better than others. Maybe they were honest, they were, they had good grades, so they will be given roles and they would solve conflict among the children, they would advise other children and so forth. So maybe you can introduce them, because maybe the kids that you think are rebellious or the sort can be more open to their peers than to the teachers. And also role play exercises that teach students to resolve disagreements peacefully. Another thing, decision making, giving students responsibility in small matters. Once you give them responsibility, you are teaching them ethics, but in action, not the theory part, in action. Because in as much as you have had, and it has become, something within us, it has formed a habit, we have to implement it. One thing that my school used to do, we were given the freedom of electing our prefect and our prefect and the students that will lead us. And that gave us, a sense of responsibility, knowing that we have, we are the ones that are choosing these people, and these people will do what? Will guide us, will guide us through, the roles, the responsibilities, and so forth. So on to the next slide, creating inclusive classrooms. So the first thing that we need to do in order to create inclusive classrooms is one of the benefits that we get in creating inclusive classrooms, and one of the speaker has talked about creating inclusive classrooms, such as respect, fairness, and the others. So one of the benefits is that every student feels valued and respected, right? Because this student is sure and assured of the teacher respects me. There is fairness, there is open communication, there is honesty between us, and so forth. And also it encourages participation to boost confidence. Most children, you see, like public speaking and confidence and participation, most of the attributes are built in class. So once the teacher creates an inclusive classroom, you are building this child, you're making them more bold, you're encouraging them to participate, you're boosting their confidence. So another thing, creating inclusive classrooms ensures that there is inclusive spaces, reduces marginalization and conflict. Once you create inclusive classrooms, I have had the speaker talking about group discussions. It reduces marginalization because you get to mingle people from different classes, people with different grades. So you reduce marginalization, you create inclusive spaces, and children get to work together. So it increases unity and reduces on conflict. Another thing, group works. This is a tip actually. Group works helps to identify differences in learners and create the value of love and fosters diversity. I think I've said this in the previous point, so I'm not going to go in depth. So practical actions for positive behavior. Number one, I would suggest to co-create classroom rules with students. Please note that it's not create, it's co-create. You are not dictating over the students. You have talked about fostering, fostering collaboration between you and your students. So you co-create. So you co-create rules with your students so that they could, and this will also build to decision making, because these students will be accountable to the rules that they agreed on. The second point is recognize and reward ethical behavior. It doesn't have to be expensive, a gift or something. We humans, we love affirmation. So you have just acknowledge, let the students feel and recognize that you are seeing them, you are seeing their efforts, and affirm them to continue doing the same. So provide safe spaces for open dialogue. So you need to provide safe spaces. You need to create an open loop policy that a child can come to you at whatever time, at whatever period, if they have a problem. So encourage mentorship programs such as senior students guiding juniors. That is one. I also talked about, what is it called? The peer-to-peer counseling. It also helps. So the steps above have to be constant. Remember, I said a habit is formed by repetition. So, in our school, there are times there are some things that the school will just wake up and say, we have an open door policy, you can come to us, and they will be silent for quite some time. And so we will wonder, is it true? Were they playing with us? Was it for a season or something like that? So you have to be constant in recognizing them, in telling them there's an open door policy, in affirming them and things like that. So expected outcomes, when we do all these things, when we create a safe space for children, when we have open communication and the things like that, how will it benefit us? How will it benefit the school? So number one is stronger teacher-students relationship. Of course, you have created a safer space for between you two, and so it will yield to stronger teacher and student relationship. The second thing is higher student engagement and performance, because there's a safe space, there is fairness, transparency, and the like. There's reduced disciplinary cases, because I talked about solving the problem first. Once you solve it, I believe you have solved everything. So disciplinary cases will be reduced. Students um, students will be prepared to be ethical and responsible citizens. At the beginning of this presentation, I said that the reason why we are introducing ethics is to build responsible citizens and to make a conducive society. So students will be prepared to be students are prepared to be ethical and responsible. So call to action. So these are the things to note. Number one, education is a shared responsibility. It's not about teachers alone. It's about parents. It's also about the students. You have to take a personal initiative, to do these things, and also the society. And I would like to commend your organization. This is one of the things that is pushing for, because it's a shared responsibility. You have held this webinar, you have invited the teachers and the students, and so forth. Number two, combine academic excellence with strong character building. Remember, we are not building sharp people that are mannerless. So the ethics, the moral values, they build the character and they affect the behavior. So in as much as we are championing for academic excellence, we are championing for ethics. Together, create schools where ethics and learning thrive. So conclusion, ethics and education, they go hand in hand, as we have seen, and it forms the foundation for responsible leadership. We can bridge the ethical gap and raise citizens of integrity. That's it for my presentation. Thank you for your time and for listening to me. Over to you, Fiona. Hello, hi.
Thank you very much, Mercy. Thank you to all the speakers for your wonderful presentation. So now, I don't know if anybody has a question. We're taking a question and answer. The people are here to respond. Any questions? Comment section. They have given us a lot to think about, to reflect on. So anybody has any question, any doubt, any contribution? Yes, Wilson, I can see a hand up. Wilson,
Yeah, good
do you
evening.
have a
It's just
question?
a contribution. I'm very happy with this topic. This is a very sensitive topic that some of us undermine. Yeah, I was happy when on her presentation, she talks of a safe space. It's just to add that maybe a safe space could be then they look for a religious person maybe to give some kind of psychosocial and psycho counseling to the children. You know, most of these antisocial children, most of these children who practice anti-socialism in school, either if you look from their background, it's either they are coming from a hostile family or they are coming from a camp area. So at the primary level of education, I don't know if my network is okay. At the primary level of education, I just believe that we should try as much to teach the children cultural norms and values and ethical behavior within the society. Just as you see country like China. China takes about from the class one, from the pre-nursery, nursery school, class one, class two, they get to teach their cultures to all the children that are coming into an institution. Then I think from class three and above, before they start giving them lessons that they need to know in school. So it's just a contribution that we should take more time to build the children in the primary level, the early primary stage, culturally.
Thank you so much, Lucy, for the contribution. It shows that you have been listening throughout. Anybody has something else to say, any contribution, any acknowledgement? Okay, in the absence of new questions, once more, I want to appreciate our
Samia,
very.
I,
Yes,
I think
Mercy.
Sambe has raised her hand. Not sure though. I'm just seeing from my screen. From my screen.
Oh, I think her hand has been raised since from the
Um.
beginning of the second speaker. I doubt if she has a question.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
If anyone has a question, the person can as well speak. But in the absence of no question, once more, I want to appreciate our speakers. We've heard from the beginning how we can create inclusive and safe spaces for children in school. We've heard on how to the root causes of conflicts between teachers and students, and we have also heard how we can actually bridge that gap. We've also learned how we could raise responsible citizens. We have to begin from the schools because this is where the children spend most of their time. 70% of their time they are in school. So where else can they learn how to become responsible, ethical citizens, if not in school? So I really want to appreciate our speakers for this wealth of knowledge. They have proven that they're actually experts in their fields. So thank you very much. And as we come to the end of this rich discussion, I want to give a heartfelt thank you on behalf of Wem'Afrika, and also we have the co-founder of Wem'Afrika present. If you would like to say one or two words before we conclude, Madam Pauline, if Madam Pauline has one or two words, the co-founder of Wem'Afrika and Secretary General, so we can close the session with. Since like Madam Pauline is not quite available for our take home for this webinar, bridging the ethical gap starts with each and every one of us in how we communicate, how we listen, how we lead within our schools. This is very important. It begins with each and every one of us. And together, we all can create learning spaces where teachers feel supported, students also feel valued, and mutual respect becomes a norm, becomes a culture. It takes each and every one of us. So I hope we all have had something to hold on to, something to take home about, something to write home about concerning this webinar. We are very grateful. And with Madam Pauline available now, so we can round up with the session. Um, I think we have about 3 minutes left for us to round up with this session.
Hello, Fiona, can you hear me?
Yes, Miss Pauline, thank you. We can hear you. Thank you very much, Javin. Thank you. We can hear
Oh,
you.
yeah, sorry, I was quite occupied with something. I want to say thank you very much to the speakers, Miss Senge, Mercy, and Kate. It's really a privilege to have you on one of our webinars to talk about this issue that really concerns us directly and indirectly. Because when it comes to ethics, we always believe that it's just for the adults, but rather we teach the kids about ethics. And when it comes to happiness or comfort, everybody is included, either you're a student or a teacher, or the institutions in general. Couple, I think in the month of September, beginning of September, we ended our child protection program, which was about to ensure that we have to protect our children. What about them in schools? Because I was on community. What about in schools? So having this opportunity or this platform to really talk about students and teachers and how we can manage them, how we can take care of these children will go a long way in terms of implementing policies that protects our children, that protects our teachers. Yesterday was the 5th of October, Teachers' Day. It's a day that we try to recognize our teachers, we tend to value them in their effort. What about the institutions? Do they provide such services to them? Are they comfortable? And let's not forget that sometimes our teachers just behave in a way because of the resources, because they have lack of resources. We are in the developing country. What are we doing to support our teachers? When you look at the developed countries, their level of education is quite different. So if you are trying to change the narrative, what are we doing so far? This is our step as Wem'Afrika, because we are trying to ensure that our children or our students, our pupils are comfortable in school. Our teachers are also comfortable in school. This is not the end of our project. This is like a second part of our project. We're going to have a project. We're going to go to schools, have a training with the teachers, and the students are going to talk about ethics. So thank you very much, Fiona, for moderating this event. And I wish you all a lovely, lovely evening.
Thank you so much, Miss Pauline. Thank you to everyone for joining. Thank you for your commitment. Thank you for believing in Wem Africa. We would like to have you on our next webinar. We would like to have you guys once more. Thank you so much. And I appreciate all the speakers. Thank you so much for such an insightful session. You made everything warmer and easier for us to understand. Thank you.